Okay, so today we're going deep on something kind of funny. I guess you could call it a fashion trend. I mean, it's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
Mistranslated t-shirts?
Yeah.
You know, the ones with like broken English or just weird phrases that you see people wearing sometimes?
Right, right. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some of these shirts. They're pretty funny.
And there's a little bit more to it than just being funny. So let's dig in.
All right.
I got a bunch of articles sent in about these things, and even a link to a website that's selling them like hotcakes. It's crazy.
Mm.
So we're going to try and figure out what's going on here. Like, why are these things so popular? Is it ironic? Is it just some kind of like weird internet humor thing?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen these shirts around and it's definitely interesting. Like, they kind of make you do a double take.
Exactly.
And I think there's got to be more to it than just like wanting to wear something funny.
Right.
Like, it's almost like a statement or something.
So I guess the first thing is the origin story, right? Like, how did this all start?
Well, it seems like the founder was, he was a world traveler. He's going all over the place, and he kept seeing these shirts with these, these kind of funny mistranslations, and it just sparked this idea for him, and he decided to build a whole brand around it.
Which is wild.
Ah.
And now, like, his business is booming. People can't get enough of these shirts.
That's amazing. It's like he's found a way to like turn these mistakes into something really successful.
Yeah, exactly. It's like embracing the imperfection. And maybe that's part of the appeal. Like, people are tired of everything being so perfect and polished all the time.
Right. Like in fashion, especially, there's so much pressure to be trendy and stylish.
Mm-hmm.
And these shirts are kind of like a rebellion against that.
Yeah, they're like saying, you know what? I don't care if my shirt has a grammar mistake on it.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I'm going to wear it anyway.
Totally. And it's like you're in on the joke, you know?
Yeah.
You're not taking fashion too seriously.
Exactly. There's one design that really stood out to me from the article. It was a shirt that said, "You so high? You so handsome?"
Oh, yeah, I've seen that one. And that's literally a direct quote from a note that the founder got. Yeah, it's like he was just like going about his day.
Right,
and he
yeah.
got this note and he was like, this is gold. This is going on a t-shirt.
That is so good.
Uh-huh. What a great find.
Right? Like, you got to have a certain eye for this kind of stuff, you know?
Totally. Like, yeah, I have to be able to see the humor in the unexpected.
Yeah. And speaking of unexpected, this website, it's called Cakemob. They really embrace this whole mistranslated thing. Like, their whole brand is built around it.
Interesting.
Like, their tagline is, the male our customer can have the fashion and cheaply and environment.
Wow, so they're not even trying to hide the broken English.
Nope. They're owning it, and it's working for them.
It's like part of their charm, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Just listen to some of the slogans they have on their T-shirts.
Okay, I'm ready.
No school, Dookie Boys, Mongolia 2020. It's like a whole world of bizarre and kind of hilarious phrases. So what do you think is going on with the humor here?
Well, there's definitely like a layer of ironic appreciation, you know?
Uh-huh.
Like people are finding it funny because it's so wrong.
Yeah, like it's so bad it's good.
Exactly. But I think there's also a connection to internet humor.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like the internet is full of these weird, nonsensical jokes and memes.
Right, and the more absurd it is, the funnier it gets.
Totally. It's like
Yeah.
its own language almost.
Yeah, and by wearing these shirts, people are signaling that they're part of this online culture. You
Yeah,
know?
they're saying, I get it. I'm in on the joke.
And so this brand is built around those, and I think it's really interesting, kind of the cultural commentary that they're going for. They're not trying to like correct the errors or anything like that.
Right.
They're embracing them.
Yeah, they call it like authentic human error.
Yes.
I love that.
Which is such a cool way to put it.
It is.
Like, it's not just a mistake. It's like,
Yeah.
this is part of who we are.
Well,
Like,
totally.
we all make these little blunders.
And I feel like that's so refreshing too, because, we live in a world where everything is so like polished and perfect on social media.
Right, right.
And it's like,
It's curated.
yeah, it's so curated. And so this is like the opposite of that,
It's like celebrating the imperfections.
of language and of, just like human communication. I mean, talk about like, really looking at something and seeing the potential in it, right?
Yeah.
It's not just a bad translation. It's like, oh, there's something here.
Yeah. And what about the designs themselves? I mean, they're so simple.
Yeah, super simple. Like, it's just the phrase, like, bold text on a plain shirt.
Like, they're not overthinking it.
No. It's like the message speaks for itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
We don't need any, like, fancy graphics or anything.
So I've got to ask you about this one.
Yeah.
Because this is probably their most famous one. The Dookie Boys T-shirt.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic.
What do you think? Is it just the words themselves, or is it like how it all comes together that makes it so funny?
Well, I think it's definitely the words themselves, like Dookie Boys. I mean, come on.
Right.
Just inherently funny, but I think it's also the contrast, right? You've got this like kind of silly, childish term,
Uh-huh.
but it's on like a
Fashion statement.
yeah, it's a fashion statement. So there's that kind of juxtaposition
Absolutely.
that makes it work. And then, for people who grew up in the 90s,
Yeah.
like there's that nostalgia factor too, right? Like Dookie was like a thing back then. So it's like, oh, I remember that.
Yeah, takes you back.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the humor,
Mm-hmm.
right? The kind of like mistranslations, the designs.
Yeah.
But there's also a little bit of like a deeper layer to Cake Mob,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
like the name itself. I
Yeah.
mean, Cake Mob, that's a reference to the French Revolution,
Uh-huh.
and their logo has a hidden guillotine in it.
Right.
It's subtle, but it's there.
It's like a little Easter egg,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's definitely like a statement.
Yeah, like they're not just about like funny T-shirts.
Yeah, it's like they're poking fun at the system a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we're not just gonna, conform to all the rules and the expectations.
Yeah.
We're gonna do our own thing.
So it's funny, and it makes you think a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what makes them so interesting is that it's not just like surface level humor.
Right.
There's actually like something to chew on there. Some people might just be drawn to the humor,
Yeah.
and that's totally fine.
Sure.
But I think others might, see the shirt and then start thinking about like, oh, what does this actually mean?
Yeah.
What are they trying to say here? And that's when it becomes really interesting.
Yeah, you start a conversation.
Exactly.
You
It's a
know.
conversation starter.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay, I want to talk about their design strategy.
Okay.
So they only offer 10 designs at a time,
Right.
and new ones replace the old ones.
Yeah.
It's smart.
What do you think about that?
Well, it definitely creates this like limited edition kind of vibe,
Yeah.
which is really popular in streetwear.
Yeah, like you got to get it now or you'll miss it.
Exactly. FOMO, fear of missing out.
Yes.
So that definitely drives sales. And let's not forget the affordability factor.
Right. These shirts are usually pretty cheap.
Yeah. Like that tagline again, the feminine, the male, our customer can have the fashion and cheaply.
It's like they're making a point of it,
Totally. Like you don't have to spend a fortune to be fashionable or to express your individuality.
Yeah, it's like a rejection of those expensive high fashion brands.
Oh, exactly. So we've got a lot of interesting things at play here with this trend.
Yeah, we've got this unexpected entrepreneurial success, the rejection of perfectionism, the internet humor aspect, and then this desire for affordable and unique fashion.
It's a whole cultural phenomenon.
It really is. And it makes you wonder, like, what does this all say about how we view language? Like,
Yeah.
Are we becoming more tolerant of imperfections?
Interesting.
More open to different ways of communicating?
That's a good question.
Yeah, it's something to think about the next time you see someone walking down the street with a Dookie Boys t-shirt on.
Uh-huh. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they're just trying to make you laugh, or maybe they're making a statement about how we should all loosen up a bit,
I like that.
Embrace the chaos.
Yeah, embrace the chaos.
The beauty of imperfection.
Yeah. So I guess like wrapping it all up,
Yeah.
Cake Mob is such a fascinating brand. Like they're funny, they're making you think, they've got great designs,
Mhm.
they're affordable.
Yeah.
What do you think their success says about consumers today?
Well, it makes you wonder, right? Like, are people craving something more authentic? Something that's not so like polished and perfect.
Yeah.
Like maybe in a world of like, all these brands that are trying to be so aspirational and curated, maybe people are just kind of tired of that.
Yeah, they want something real.
Yeah, they want something real, something that they can relate to.
Imperfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Cake Mob really taps into that.
That is such a good point. So if
Yeah.
anyone out there is intrigued and wants to see these t-shirts themselves, you can check them out at cakemob.company.site.
Awesome.
Yeah. And let us know what you think.
Oh.
Thanks for joining us. So this deep dive into Cake Mob.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
I love these shirts.
All right, see ya.
See you later.